Hi guys, and welcome back to the Stripe Pod, powered by Red Stripe Corporate, where we discuss the stories, the strategy, and the cultural focus behind one of Jamaica's most iconic companies. I'm your host, Tyheissa Williams, and today's conversation is an exciting one. We have with us today a cultural architect, the creative entrepreneur, chief vibes officer, the man himself, Mr. Scott Dunn. Thank you so
writing
much
checks that you can't cash, making people promises about how exciting it's going to be.
No, it really is going to be exciting. Scott has quite an engaging personality, and I'm sure this conversation is going to be really rich, and you're going to learn a lot about culture, Jamaican culture, which is everywhere, through our music, through our events, creative communities, and the energy of shared experience. Red Stripe embodies what it means to be the coolest beer company, if we do say so ourselves. Our cultural relevance comes from understanding the spaces, sounds, and communities that shape Jamaican culture. Now, culture is where brands either are real or they're irrelevant. And Red Stripe's role in music, entertainment, and social life is one that we need to discuss. And that's what we'll be doing here today. We're going to be talking about the business of culture, entertainment as an economy, as an area of influence, and as an export power. So Scott is the man for the job. He's fully equipped to talk all about this, all right? So we're going to talk about new ways for brands and culture makers to build together. Scott, welcome to the Stripe Pod.
Thanks for having me.
I'm happy you're here. So, Scott, because we kind of fashion ourselves as cool corporate, we do a little, don't say rapid fire questions, just to get the ball rolling. No, and I have a few for you. I think they're right up your alley. What was your first party?
My first party, so I actually started in high school. So I was student council president at Wolmer's. And I used to organize sound clashes as fundraisers. But sound clashes were really just guys that went to school that were representing different sound systems.
Yes.
So at the time, it was like a Stone Love. Somebody would be Stone Love, somebody else would be Silverhawk, somebody else would be Travelers, and they would know the dub plates by heart. But first big event I really did was in 1995. It was called Scare Them Uptown. It was really Scare Them Cruise introduction to the world. So, Elephant Man, Harry Toddler, Nitty Kochi, Angel Doulas, Boom Dynamite. And Sean Paul was supposed to open that show for them, as well as Future Trouble. So.
Okay, nice. Scott is a big man, you hear them something, Boom Dynamite, Scare Them. I don't know how many of our younger audience even knows who these people are, but you have to Google that. All right, your ideal party location.
My ideal party location, Montego Bay.
All right. A stage show or all-inclusive event?
Depending on my vibe, I love both. I love a stage show that is all-inclusive, which is like what Dream Weekend is.
Oh, nice, nice. Headline act or crowd energy?
Crowd energy.
Crowd energy. Summer or Christmas events?
Christmas.
Really?
Yeah, summer too hot. I mean, I do my biggest events in the summer, but God, when you get older, your body temperature kind of spikes.
Fair enough, fair enough. All right. Jamaican artists, dead or alive, that you would use to headline a show?
Jamaican artists, dead or alive, that I would use to headline a show. Garnet Silk.
Oh, nice.
Love Garnet Silk. Most underrated artist.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's a good one.
I mean, for short careers, like bangers.
That's a good one. That's a very good one. All right, you did very well with our rapid fire, so we're just going to jump right into it. What makes a brand feel authentic in entertainment and culture?
When a brand doesn't try to sanitize the culture. I think that's a problem a lot of brands have. And we understand, I have a corporate background. So I worked in corporate for a while, so I understand when somebody needs to be corporate. But if you want to interact with culture, the culture needs to be authentic. So you have to be careful while remaining within your corporate guidelines. And I know you know that well. Not to sanitize the culture, not to make it something that it's not to over PG culture, especially a Jamaican culture, which is a very raw culture.
Yeah, I feel you on that one, and I find that even in my role at Red Stripe, in briefing or partners or promoters, etc., on what we call our responsible marketing code, it's trying to strike that balance between what keeps us employed because we want to stay employed, but also being true to the culture. And I think that's a good point. So, and it kind of stretches your creativity a little bit, but I take your point that we have to strike that balance.
Yeah, I mean, obviously we don't want to do stuff. I know a big part of obviously your marketing code is we don't want to like offend people.
Yes.
I mean, if in a very simple way to explain it. So it's about, you know, again, being true to the culture, but not being offensive, not being rude, not being, you know, emotional intelligence is something that's very important nowadays. And unfortunately, it's not really a strong trait in our culture at times.
And that's so true, Scott. We have to exercise emotional intelligence and be very creative in how we represent our brand and our culture in a very authentic way. And in that vein, how does a company like Red Stripe remain relevant in the entertainment space?
Yeah, well, I say again, you know, congrats to you. Red Stripe has remained very relevant, and you know, across a number of your brands have always played a role in the culture. You know, I look as far back as the introduction of the stubby buckle. You know, from what I know, it was because of the temperature here in Jamaica. It was something that to help keep beer cooler. It worked in the stubby buckle. So Red Stripe, again, and I don't know how far back is. I think that's like the 60s, if I'm not mistaken. Stubby bottle came out. You know, it's been a part of the culture, and then reggae, you know, everything from, you know, Reggae Sunsplash to Reggae Sunfest. Red Stripe was a sponsor of the first Dream Weekend. They've been involved in Carnival. You know, like literally like anything that you touch in the culture, from things at community level, sports, you know, Red Stripe has always been involved in football. You know, have somebody like Usain Bolt as an ambassador, who's probably certainly our strongest living brand, you know. And I think that's a great thing when great brands align, you know. So again, you know, we have these great diaspora brands, you know, a Red Stripe, again, a Dream Weekend, a Usain Bolt. These are brands that mean a lot to the diaspora, and bringing them together is only makes things more impactful.
Agreed, fully. And does it matter though in terms of brand alignment, or any brand can sponsor any event, and does it really matter?
It matters so much. So I'll say something, and it probably won't make me very popular at your office or at a lot of offices, but I find too often, you know, brand managers / marketing / sponsorship managers, they want to sponsor events that work with their personality, what they like. So, you know, it's the event they want to go to. So they have a brand that's, you know, maybe, you know, targeted at, you know, like a CD demographic. But they want to sponsor the most high-end event because that's the event that the brand manager wants to be at. So I think it's very, very important to understand your brand and understand events or, you know, sponsorship properties that add value to the brand and that you can add value to. Because again, I tell people all the time, sponsorship isn't a donation. You know, it's a value exchange.
It's a partnership, a collaboration.
Exactly.
And that is so true. And it's a conversation we have from time to time. Like, does this really make sense for the brand? And even when you get those sponsorship requests, and some people may be asking for sponsorship for an event, and you have to really look at it to see if it makes sense for the brand, because then it goes back to authenticity and what people are experiencing. You want to experience, let's say, Red Stripe in a particular setting, and that's what the consumers want. But beyond the party and the excitement of the entertainment space, there is also an economic value there.
A
huge industry that oftentimes we don't talk about enough, that impact that it has, because we see the party.
That's my, I mean, that's my pet peeve. I say I've been doing events, as I said, 32 years, and up to 5 years ago when people ask me what I do, I say, oh, well, I'm group managing director, Dream Entertainment. We do Dream Weekend, Exodus, Carnival. And I'm saying, oh, yeah, but like, where you work? Like, what's your job, really? And I'm like, you know, Carnival brings in $8 billion of direct economic impact. In 2000, the Minister of Finance put Dream Weekend at about $4.3 billion of economic impact. And your sorry ass just have some stupid job and asking me what I do, like, you know.
Scott's over it.
I'm like, yo, it's like, really? Like this is so important, and it feeds so many people because there's so many branches that come off of entertainment. Like people didn't think about it in COVID, you know, when the government locked down events, the thought process was like, oh, well, promoters and selector, them not going to make any money. No, nobody thought about, you know, sound engineers, lighting engineers, bottle girls, you know, drapers, you know, bouncers, you know, cigarette man,
security teams, the vendors on the outside of events,
hairdressers that never made any money because no events were happening.
Exactly.
Because all the girls that went to hairdresser once a week started going once a month. Everybody that did them nails once every 2 weeks was going there once every 2 months. Man wasn't going no barber. Nobody cared. Nobody was buying any clothes. Because why are you buying clothes to sit down at a yard and be on a Zoom meeting? So there's so many things that feed off entertainment, and it's just not appreciated enough. And I say, go back to the carnival study. I said, Minister Bartlett, when he said there's $8 billion in direct economic impact, they got up to something I believe is $130 billion in indirect impact. So you're talking about almost $1 billion US over just carnival, just 1 week in Kingston City. You know? It's huge.
But it looks pretty, it looks fun, so it's not really work in the eyes of a lot of people. But if we really look at it, there's a huge impact.
Well, nobody works harder than people in entertainment events because, again, I have the same days as everybody else. I work the 9 to 5 days, but I also work almost every night. So, you know, when everybody has packed up and gone to them yard, that's when I'm actually executing events. I spend the whole day planning events and I spend nights executing events. You know?
That's you're working around the clock. You're working around the clock. And the huge impact that the entertainment industry has on the economy, on our social lives, etc. How can brands really show up more and support the industry more if you think they should?
Well, they definitely should, because again, it's a big part of nation building. And it's about understanding that that's exactly what it is. That is not just a party. So again, you know, congrats to brands like Red Stripe, who have obviously always embraced the culture. But you have brands that are very conservative, who have shied away from the culture, that don't want to have anything to do with reggae or dancehall. Yet still 90% of their customer base is people who are a part of the culture. So it's like you literally like, you know, you're shying away from your own customer base to maintain a certain image that, you know, it seems, you know, pristine. To not associate with dancehall or reggae, you know?
Okay. That's true. And I actually never really even thought about it from that perspective, who are shying away from that space, because you're thinking, this looks a little...
I mean, I can be even personal with it. Like, I mean, Dream Weekend is my brand. Exodus Carnival is my brand. Dream Weekend is a much bigger brand on a global basis. And in the diaspora, it's been around longer. But we generate 3 times the sponsorship income for Exodus Carnival than Dream Weekend.
Why is that?
Because again, soca is more acceptable in society and in corporate. And everybody wants to shy away from dancehall, and essentially Dream Weekend for the most part is a dancehall festival.
What can we do with dancehall? Probably, is it that it needs to be more palatable? Like, what's the issue we're having?
Go back to the sanitizing.
with
so
dancehall.
No, it doesn't need to be more. It doesn't really need to be more palatable. I mean, one of the mistakes I guess people in dancehall make is it's not the most professionally run genre. So that is where I would say the mistakes are being made on dancehall side. Generally, soca artists, soca DJs are more professional, easy to deal with. They have proper managers. Too often in dancehall is just somebody that you grew up on the corner with is your manager or your agent, and they don't understand the business of music and the business of entertainment, and they make decisions in the wrong way. And it's also important for corporate to sift through who are the true, you know, I mean, you call them promoters. I prefer to say event owners. Who are the true event owners? Because again, unfortunately, entertainment and events has been used both in Jamaica and the diaspora too often for people who not legitimately in that business. Them doing a little side hustle kind of thing. You know, again, with us with Dream, we were the first to really build a professional team and go into it full time. You know, people like myself left, you know, big corporate job. Ron Burke, one of my partners, have a master's degree in computer science. we have people that work for us who have actuarial science degrees, master's degrees in project management and business engineering. So these are people who could work anywhere in any big company and be at the top of those companies, who have chosen to be in entertainment, be in the event space. And that's allowed us to
scale
very rapidly and to have a seat at a table that a lot of people in dance don't. So what I try to do is be the voice of many people within the culture, within dancehall, reggae, who don't have a seat at the table. And that's everything from the artists to the buckle girl and the drapers and the bouncers,
Oh, very good. So you have a wealth of knowledge, extensive years in the industry. How are you now? Years. I'm emphasizing, I'm emphasizing years. The veteran in the business. How are you helping like the next generation of promoters? What's the guidance that you're providing there, if any?
Yeah, again, that's kind of like a stickling point. So we've worked and we've built a lot of people along the way, and proud of it. I mean, there's a lot of people in entertainment, nightlife, who have worked for Dream somewhere along the way. People from Tanania to like Ashley Miller has worked at Dream. Chieftain Campbell, who's a big,
I heard Shensia's story started at Dream as well.
Shensia was a promo girl, a bottle girl for us at Dream Weekend. I mean, she literally was at Dream Weekend when her first song came out. And everybody was like, oh, like literally like, we're like, oh, that's the girl that sing the song, the girl that's serving the buckles. And the next Dream Weekend, she performed at Wet and Wild. That was like her first big performance. And then the following year, we did a big show with her in Kingston at Sabina Park, which was her first big show like that. And then she did Dream Live at Dream Weekend that same year as well. So we've been, I sent her a screenshot the other day. I found something in my phone when she had 12,000 followers on Instagram. I was like, yo, see where we're coming from.
Yeah.
And I have a million stories like that, like so many people that we've grown up in the industry with, I've like Spice and Beanie Man were warring, and Beanie Man would refuse to say Spice is the queen of dancehall. He kept saying Lady Saw is still the queen of dancehall. And at one Dream Weekend, I get in him ears and I get in her ears, and next thing, Beanie Man was on the stage saying, welcome to the stage, the queen of dancehall, Spice, and them dance together and perform together, So it's moments like that it's kind of, it's a proud moment for me along the way.
And you feel like the work ethic and the drive for the younger promoters coming up, is that there? Do you see them having that?
There are a few, but there are still too many that in it for the hype, like just trying, unfortunately, entertainment attracts a lot of people who don't want to work hard. So, and they assume that entertainment and events is something they don't work hard at. And sadly to say, I find the men are worse than the women. I think it's a lot easier to find millennial women who work hard and take life seriously. The men, there's just too many mollycoddled men around Jamaica right now in under 30, who mothers treated them like princes, so the whole world should treat them like princes.
I won't go on my feminist rant on this, but I'm here in agreement.
We could have a whole podcast about that.
I'm here in agreement with you on that one. So there is some work to be done there with the young men in particular, and we kind of see that across all industries in the country and in the world, really, when you look at how men are performing. But Red Stripe is back on board for Dream this year.
Oh, yes. Let me tell you what's going on.
A little birdie told me something.
Marketing, sharing information.
So what's that looking like? What can patrons expect for Dream?
Oh, so not just Red Stripe, but many brands across the portfolio.
Yes.
So Red Stripe is actually the presenting sponsor on 4 of our events.
Yes.
So they're Guinness is the presenting sponsor on Dream Live with Alkaline, which is obviously going to be a massive event.
After all.
Alkaline draws huge numbers. He hasn't performed in Montego Bay in a long time. He did 7,000 people by himself in Trelawney last year for his show New Rules. And Guinness also just sponsored him in Kingston as well. So, there's a good relationship there with Alkaline and Guinness. Guinness also has an ambassador that was very visible in the Premier League. We're trying to work a deal to also have him on that show.
Okay.
Dragon is sponsoring Igloo, which has Tommy Lee. Tommy Lee is a Mobe native who hasn't performed in Montego Bay in a long time. So again, it's somebody that's in high demand. Expect that to be a
is
massive
that
show.
Red Stripe supporting dancehall? Is that Red Stripe supporting dancehall?
Red Stripe is doing a very good job. Red Stripe is not the one I'm pointing at when I said don't support. Red Stripe is doing a very good job. I say, Casamigos and Don Julio are also on board. Rum Stripe is on board. So it's like a big chunk of the portfolio. Smirnoff is on board, right? So, Red Stripe is gonna be a big part of Dream Weekend. We're drinks inclusive in our general area, and food and drinks inclusive in our VIP. So, a big part of the Red Stripe portfolio will be poured at Dream Weekend. You pay once and come and drink all week long.
Oh, fantastic. Responsibly, of course. I love you. You're a true Red Stripe, man. You're a true Red Stripe. You've been with us.
I listen. We have those briefing sessions.
You're paying attention. I love that. So, Scott, you, as I said, years in the industry, you're a veteran. You're continuing on this trajectory because you actually also appreciate the value that entertainment brings to the Jamaican audience and to people in general. What is next for Scott Dunn?
Okay, not next for Dream. What's next
for Scott?
So I say I'm 50 this year. I kind of see being a practitioner is very difficult in entertainment at my age, especially having done it so long. So it's very tiring. I left Dream Weekend in an ambulance in 2024.
Wow.
I have high blood pressure. I have depression spells at times. So it takes a lot out of you. I mean, if you Google it, event planners is like one of the most high stress.
Yeah.
And I'm doing it at the highest level for 32 years. Yes. So I want to transition more from being a practitioner to, I guess, for want of a better term, more like a entertainment intellectual kind of thing.
Okay.
So I've envisioned myself being on more boards, teaching stuff to do with events and entertainment, speaking more about events and entertainment, consulting to governments how to build out festivals and carnivals in the way we've done with Dream Weekend and Exodus. And I've gotten a lot of interest from that. So I've been approached by other Caribbean governments. I've been approached by people in Kenya about doing what we do here in other places. But again, Jamaica is home. So, we want to build out Jamaica to the max. I mean, I see Jamaica somewhere that should have one major festival every month. I think we have the capacity for it. I think we have Jamaica as a brand is just such a huge brand. And then again, with iconic brand partners like Red Stripe, as I said, it's when these brands that everybody in the diaspora know, and certainly a lot of people internationally know, when we can bring these brands together, is really where we can make magic.
Something very powerful. Yes, agreed 100%. And so in looking to that, Scott, I want to go back to something because you hear it all the time. With entertainment, you find, I've found that a lot of people are complaining now about, they want something different.
Right.
They want something different. They feel like it's the same old.
Yeah.
Is there space for, when you try to do new things, because I've also found this, do you get that kind of uptake? What really is the entertainment need in Jamaica? Yeah. And what can be that thing that will make it different?
The whole, I guess, that marketing curve thing, the innovators are few and far between.
Yes.
So there is space for something new, but it also takes investment. And unfortunately for most of us in events and entertainment, we just had 2 years of COVID and Hurricane Melissa. So most of us aren't very, very liquid right now in terms of the experiment. You want to do the tried, tested, and proven. Personally, again, if you're asking about what's next for Scott, I actually have a festival concept called The Best, which is really about bringing all forms of art into one space. Okay, nice. So it'd be a festival that has not only music, but theater and dance and film, literature. There's obviously a food element, but and not to segment them. So it won't be like, oh, over here is film and over here.
It's all happening.
It's like, there's like a movie playing in the background while there's art displayed in the same room, or somebody's reading poetry
Yes.
in a room where, stuff is displayed, or somebody is dancing to somebody else beating drums, and really bringing all the art forms together in one space and bringing out the best that Jamaica has to offer with that.
Oh, good stuff, good stuff. And of course, we are an alcohol brand, and you're in the space of entertainment. I have to ask, from the corporate side of things, how do you see your role as a event promoter in terms of responsible consumption of alcohol at your events?
Yeah, it's something that's very important because, beyond having a conscience, which I believe I do, but there's also obviously liability issues that arise. And again, Jamaican people have become a lot more litigious.
Litigious.
It's a hard word.
Litigious.
I was let you say the word. It's a hard word for me to say. But so it's, we have to be very careful how we allow people to consume. We have to be firm with people sometimes. When it's clear that someone has had too much, but they've paid for an all-inclusive experience, they think they have the right to continue. I've never had an issue refunding people money. I don't care. Like, you've had 10 drinks, you still want more. You're already beating me, but here, take your money back. Just go, because we have to, because it's not just about them. It's the other people's lives they put in danger when them get back into a car and leave. I think also we need to have more of a culture about using public transportation. Like I said, I have a car, but I Uber a lot of times, especially like late night stuff, because even if you're not drinking a lot, sometimes you're just tired.
That's the safer option.
Right. So if you're super tired, like 2 drinks feels like 10 drinks when you haven't slept a lot.
But we're a flexing culture, so you don't want to park your nice car at home. You want to turn up in your BMW and etc. So I do take your point, and it's something that we are actually working on in terms of I recently had a partnership with Traveler Taxi to help, to give people discounted rides and stuff. So I love that you appreciate your role in promoting responsible consumption of our brands.
And if I was to give advice to Red Stripe, it's about getting people who people perceive as cool to sign on to stuff like that.
Yes.
Obviously, content creators and influencers are a big part of marketing.
Yes.
If we have some of those people genuinely, say using a taxi service instead of driving, it will catch on. Because again, most people aren't, most people are going to be followers at the end of the day.
Okay. Okay, I think that's a good one, and we can look into how we market that properly, because we want responsible consumption to be aspirational. It's not like, okay, you're the Debbie Downer of the group because you're being responsible, but how do we package that in a very responsible way?
It needs to be cool to be responsible.
Yes, All right, thank you so much for joining us on the Stripe Pod, Scott. It was a pleasure talking to you, and I look forward to the work that you're going to be doing in terms of those consultations and, training the next generation of promoters, and as well keep innovating and creating those different opportunities for entertainment in Jamaica.
And I hope Red Stripe will continue to be a part of my journey. It's been a part of my journey since day one, and I hope to, again, when I step away from, the practical side of the stuff, that Red Stripe will still be holding my hand.
And I hope so too, and I love that. All right. So thank you everybody for joining us once again for the Stripe Pod. We'll see you next time.